Hey everybody, welcome. I'm Jay. This is Radu. Radu is a Romanian performer. English is not their first language, and they're wondering, how does this accent stack up? How does it work in international play? And how does one break out into international markets? Let's talk about it. As always, hey, if you want to send in a sample, you can. There's a form in the description, and it's free. Booth Buddies, thank you. We support you. If you don't want to wait the 2 months-ish that it takes for me to get to free submissions, you can join the Booth Buddies. You can submit more than once and you get bumped to the top of the queue. There's also coaching on my website. And there's gonna be, for my audiobook people out there, an audiobook app. Very fancy. Radu!
Hi, my name is Radu Mateuca. My voice sounds more optimistic than ever, especially now after receiving the great news. If you pay close attention, you'll notice the sad tone in my voice, as was to be expected. I use an aggressive tone to intimidate those who are listening to me. Every time I meet a true friend, I adopt a friendly attitude. In the news, a dynamic and bright presence is always required, otherwise you cannot succeed in a profession like this. I tenderly whisper every word addressed to you, knowing how important this address is to you.
Nice. I think you got a good foundation to stand on here, my friend. You're definitely heading in a good direction with the accent work in general. With accent play in general, there are a few things, and again with the caveat that I am a native English speaker working in the North American market and the UK market, a little bit in other places, but those are the main two that I do work in. And so my thoughts are largely drawn from experiences of friends and colleagues here who have been or are in a similar situation to you, Radu. The thing that's tough is with accents that you're working in and languages that you're working in that are not your first, or that are just not your natural. So for me, for example, working in a UK market, one needs to be universally legible in that way. What I mean by that specifically is you need to be read in that market in order to be considered and consistently working as locally viable. So if I were to work in a UK space, I need to sound like I'm from there to the people who are there. If I don't, if I'm using my natural accent, my native speaking voice, then it would be a very specific ad. And the only difference there is by moving into a space that doesn't have this sound normally, it has to be a very specific casting opportunity. In other words, if you, Radu, were to work to get an ad here where I am, it would be a very specific ad that would be looking for a voice very much like yours for a very specific reason, because the sounds in your accent are not local here. So that's really interesting and cool, but it comes with it just that subtle understanding of that little wrinkle there. All to say, in terms of can you make a full-time gig working in international markets to try to up that playability, that factors in. So to that end, when you're working with accents or to modulate or have better control over your accents, there are a few things to bear in mind when you're addressing the locality of things. One is the clarity of the voice has to be universally legible. The articulation and resonation, the articulators and resonators are the things in our body that we use to make different sounds. And the reason different accents happen are we're shifting our use of those to produce slightly different sounds. So even though even though this is the same language, same words, I'm using a different accent because the placement of the different sounds and the way each sound works is slightly different than this accent over here. Same thing with this accent here. It's going to have just slightly different sounds shifting in this direction. And with yours, to make it locally legible, you would just be learning the control of each different sound and targeting it more specifically. All to say, as your accent stands here, you'd be pretty limited in terms of opportunities broadly, just because it's so specifically you. And with any voiceover actor, as you're moving into different spaces with different accents, it has those challenges built into it. So in terms of addressing those things with the articulators, resonators, the musicality of the accent, modulating those ever so slightly and having control over them will just give you broader flexibility, and by virtue of that flexibility, broader castability in general. As an example, this phrase here.
In the news, a dynamic and bright presence is always required.
In the news, a dynamic and bright presence is always required. Like, you've got great clarity of speech. I understand everything really well. Your facility with English is wonderful. But the sounds in this are very much you and your accent still, which makes sense because we're not trying to change that yet. But if that were to be readable to me, we would shift those. Readable to me meaning if I were to hear this voice on an ad that says, in the news, dynamic and bright presence is always required. If we were to shift it, in the news, a dynamic and bright presence. So the subtle difference is my English shifts a little bit further back. Yours is a little bit more forward in the resonators. Everything's a little bit more forward in the mouth, whereas mine rests more towards the back of the throat in that way. The vibration in my voice, I feel it generally like here, back in the throat, back of the mouth. Whereas if I try to emulate your voice, a dynamic and bright presence, it shifts forward. There's a little bit more nasalness to it. And so gaining control over those different sounds, how you use them, and not necessarily to shift away entirely from your natural accent because it's beautiful, but learning how to tilt it in certain ways might be able to branch you out a little bit more, rather than shifting wholesale from this is my natural Romanian accent here, shifting to now this is my American English accent. That would have a whole slew of opportunities built into it because you would have that full flexibility. But if we make this Romanian accent, shift it a little bit more to you can just like drift it a little bit. So it's not a full switch, but sort of a blending of the two. That could be interesting. I don't know. I don't have like stats on that or anything, but that sort of idea is what I mean by universally legible and shifting in those directions just to have that flexibility and viability. Because just as an example, and I'll leave you with this, I suppose, the international markets, particularly in the EU, like for example, when I was working or trying to build a client base in the EU, you would see a lot of like general European, meaning nobody wants you to be firmly regional in your dialect and accent. So if somebody were to speak, say, with a heavy Italian accent or a heavy Spanish accent or a heavy French or German accent or a heavy Romanian accent, for a European listener, that will plant somebody regionally pretty specifically. But the drifting thing that I was talking about, where if you just kind of like combine everything into a general. So, for example, one of my friends, they speak like French, Belgian, a little bit of German and English. And so their accent naturally has like a kind of blending of all of those. And not to say that any of this is good or bad, but just a bunch of thoughts and information for you, Radu. But they have a very successful sort of generalized European play. Part of that, admittedly, is that they are multilingual, but also part of that is the sound of their accent bridges a fair number of regions and demographics. So if somebody were to say, hey, we're running this ad in Germany, well, they can speak German and they sound fairly German, but they also can modulate slightly to tilt things a little bit more French if they want to, or a little bit more Belgian if they want to, as an example for you. Hopefully that's helpful for you, my friend. It's a interesting and difficult thing. And if you have more questions, feel free to email me and I'll try to connect you with folks, assuming that they're up for it, but I can always ask for you if that's of interest. So if that's something you want to do, just shoot me an email. For everybody else, be well. I'll see you in the next one of these, and stay tuned for that audiobook app if that's something you want to do. I'm pretty excited about it. Bye.